Right, so I've got here 4 vintage air rifles, all made from the mid 1930s back to the early 1900s. The earliest being the BSA Improved Model D at the top. Below that we've got a Braidlin Armory Greener, which is about the 1930s. Underneath that we've got a Greener Camback, again 1930s. And then we've got a Midlands Gun Company Demon, which is probably late 20s to early 30s. And basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to look to see how accurate or what sort of levels of accuracy you can perhaps expect from these very early air rifles. Now, I suppose it's important to remember that these early air rifles, especially the early BSAs, were mainly used by people that were shooting in the very, very popular Bell Target leagues that sprang up all over the country. And these were mainly held in pubs, so the ranges were very short because they were held inside in a pub, and you could set your own range up in your house or in your garden or whatever. So Bell Target shooting was immensely popular. And the stipulated range for Bell Target shooting was 6 yards, though as I understand it, some were held slightly longer, 8 yards. So these rifles were really made for that sort of thing, and admittedly the Greener Camback was probably more of a pest control rifle, but you know, the thing to look at is mainly they were used for Bell Target shooting or for target shooting at comparatively close ranges, not the sort of 30, 40, 50 yards range that we shoot today to gauge accuracy of our field rifles. That's not to say that these things can't perform at those longer ranges. Obviously, any air rifle that's incredibly accurate at 8, 10 yards is going to be very accurate out at 30 yards as well. So what I'm going to do, I've got an indoor range that is about 9 yards. So it's a little bit longer than a traditional Bell Target range, but still fairly close. So I'm going to see what sort of accuracy you can expect out of these old air rifles over that sort of range, and see what our forefathers were getting with these rifles and what these guns are capable of. I do intend to take some of the more powerful ones out to longer ranges when I get the chance and the weather improves, but at the minute it's far too windy and far too wet, chucking it down all the time, and I really don't want to be taking rifles that are some of them over 100 years old and most of them nearly 100 years old out in the pouring rain. So let's have a little look, see what these guns can do over 9 yards. Right, so first up, I'm going to be shooting my BSA Improved Model D. And it's important to remember here, I'm not especially bothered about the accuracy on the target. I'm more bothered, we're looking at the grouping, because you obviously can set them up. So we're looking for grouping. So 9 yards, Improved Model D, using RWS Hobby pellets. Not bad. Not bad considering I'm shooting freestanding. And I'm not the best shot at freestanding. So that's not too bad at all. Right, next I'm going to use the Greener cam lock. This is a .22 caliber rifle, and I'm using JSBs. Again, not bad. My freestanding shooting is not very good, but that's pretty damn good. Next one is the Greener Braidlin, and again 177 caliber, and again I am going to be using the hobbies for this one. See how tight these groups are. So that's the Braidlin. And finally, I'm going to shoot the Midland Gun Company Demon. Again, freestanding 177, and I'm going to be using the hobbies for this one. I think one of them went off because of me wobbling. Ignore the top one, that was my fault. But again, pretty tight group. You know, under my little finger. So pretty good, I think. So there you go. So freestanding, I know from the past what I've shot with more modern rifles, that from freestanding I very much doubt I could do much better, get much better groupings than that. if I used a rest or shot kneeling down or prone, my results would improve massively, but I'm not a very good shot freestanding at all. But those groups are credible, I think. 9 yards, freestanding, unsupported shooting, with 4 beautiful rifles from the mid-30s back to the early 1900s. Brilliant, brilliant rifles, all of them. All of them shoot very sweet as well. Really nice, and I'm sure that someone who was a good freestanding shot would be getting clover tight groups out of these rifles. They really are that good. I'm exceptionally impressed with them. They all shoot well, they all shoot smoothly, and they're pretty powerful as well. They pack a fair old punch, especially the greener cam lock is a very powerful 2.2, and the Braidlin Armory and the Midland Gun Company 177s also pack a fair old wallop. So yeah, very impressive rifles. Very impressive rifles for such old guns. Never discount the old stuff. It can still be really, really accurate. And like I say, I'm sure someone who is a really good shot, freestanding, a match shooter, would easily be putting almost all the shots in tiny cloverleaf groups from these 4 beautiful air rifles. They're a joy to shoot. No twanginess, no recoil as such. They're just lovely rifles to shoot. They really knew what they were doing. They really do. When you think of a lot of these harsh modern Springers, these things just knock them for 6. Thanks for watching.